We are back.
Finally.
We are back. Our producer, Johnny B. Good, is doing the Detroit lean and dancing in the background. The mayor of New Carlisle, Kenny, is back there. The self-proclaimed mayor, by the way.
Well, I counted all the votes. They were all for me.
Yeah, no, I know.
It was unanimous.
He's just waiting for someone to have a vote.
We are on our second computer. We were all ready to go at 2 till, and computer goes dead.
It doesn't matter, man.
Here we're
back. The Coach's Corner, Ronnie Heck, Pat King. We're here to talk some sports tonight, and I'm jumping right into it right now, man. I'm jumping into MLB baseball, and I'm jumping into the names of Shohei Ohtani and Cody Bellinger. I mean, so you like baseball, but you ain't a real big baseball dude, are you?
I'm not a big name person. Just I'll watch the game and I'll enjoy the games, but I don't really pay that much attention to all this hot stove stuff that you guys do, dealing players from one team to the other.
Man,
I just don't do that.
The hot stove league is my deal. I love it. Shohei Ohtani, the American League MVP, is going to get between 400 and 500 million, maybe 10 and 11, 12 years, something like that.
And he's only got one arm. He's hurt.
Well, he's hurt.
Will he even be able to play next year?
Well, no, he's a DH. He had 46 home runs this year. He plays both ways.
He's a pitcher.
He's a hitter and he's a pitcher. He had 46 home runs last year. So you're going to say he's not a hitter? He's the next best thing.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying he's got one arm.
He's a DH.
Okay.
So he's Babe Ruth. He's the best player of this generation. He may be the greatest baseball player of all time, to be honest with you. That's why he's going to get between $400 and $500 million. Guess who it's down to? Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing.
Let me guess. The Dodgers and Cubs?
You heard me talking.
No,
come on, man.
If you're that interested,
you heard me talking.
If you're that damn interested, the Cubs had to be in there someplace.
Yeah, no, the Cubbies and the Dodgers, man. He played with the Angels last year up in Anaheim and just a little south is L.A. So there's a lot of speculation that he would stay out west. But there's also a lot of talk and a lot of speculation that because of Seiya Suzuki and maybe some other things, that Chicago would interest him. Now, Chicago's signed and hired Craig Counsell as their new manager. Craig Counsell is as good as it gets.
Right.
When you're talking about managers, they had to let David Ross go, and that was tough. But Shohei Ohtani, Cody Bellinger may be back with the Cubs. I don't know. That's going to be another $200 million. That may be an 8-year, $200 million contract.
Do they have that much money?
Are you kidding me? It's Chi-Town.
Are they going to have to get rid of somebody to get those guys?
No, it's Chicago.
They got to dump money?
It's Chicago, man. It's Al Capone.
Okay.
Hey, Al, I need a couple $100 million.
I'm
Is Al still living or is he gone?
That's still up for grabs. I don't know.
It's the same deal.
Same with Jimmy.
Where's Jimmy Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa. They're probably the same place.
Jimmy's.
They're probably down in Argentina somewhere.
No, so you know what I say Jimmy is. He's buried under
the
Giant Stadium. He's buried in the concrete underneath Giant Stadium. I mean, that's allegedly. Pete Alonso, first baseman for the Mets, the polar bear, hits 46, 47 home runs. He's in discussions maybe for the Cubs to get rid of some of their young people and trade for him. Juan Soto, the generational player from the San Diego Padres, he's in the sights of the Cubs maybe to trade for him. And the reason that this speculation with Chicago is because Chicago has a great farm system. They traded all those great players, Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, all those really, really good players. Got young players, stocked up their farm system, and now they're actually in a position of strength to where
they can trade those guys.
They can trade those guys for generational talents. Now here's the problem. Okay, so here's the problem of trading for the polar bear, Pete Alonso, is he'll be a free agent after next year.
So you're going to get him for 1 year.
Well, I mean, you got to say, we got to be able to sign you, Pete. Mm-hmm. I'm not giving up 4 great young players if we can't sign you. And the problem with that is who?
Well, maybe they should call the Jets and ask how they do that with the Aaron Rodgers stuff.
I'm
getting off track. Go ahead.
You're getting off track. But why is this going to be difficult when I say that Pete Alonso is going to be a free agent?
Tell me.
Who's his agent?
I don't have a clue.
Scott Boras, who's the toughest agent in baseball.
See, I would not
and would
know
never
that.
well, I mean, Johnny B. Good knows who Scott Boras is, one of the best agents in the game.
Absolutely.
But would never let his players sign for undervalue
No.
and things like that. So,
I don't deal with agents.
so well, I got an agent. Did I tell you I got
heard
an
you
agent?
told, yeah, you're big time.
And,
No, I got
currently,
an
and
agent.
we're still in negotiations for a raise for head.
I got an agent.
I'm
All
still
I'm
not-
saying, hey, if you
I'm
come
still in the
along,
I'm still in the mom and pop.
no,
part,
if
so-
you come along,
Okay.
we may throw you in there.
Okay, well,
Okay?
let me know.
But these agents,
I'll have him talk to my people.
these agents are just tough, man, because back in the old days, they would negotiate with Pete Alonso before the trade, and they would say, hey, Pete, we're going to make this trade, man. You know, here's a contract, maybe $200 million for 8 years, something like that.
Right.
You know, what do you think about this? And Pete Alonso would say, yeah, that sounds really good. Make the trade. So the Cubs would make the trade, and then the next day they would sign Pete Alonso to a 10-year contract. Now it's not like that. So you don't know. What you're getting. You don't know if you're going to have him for more than a year, which is terrible because you're going to give up 3 or 4 or 5 really good young players.
Yeah, good point.
And may not have them. But so that's what's going on now, and all of the deals that are going to start happening, the trades, the free agents, that really excites me because I mean, truth be told, okay, I'm now coming clean to you. I'm coming clean to you
Lord,
right
I feel like
here.
I'm at confession.
This is a confession. If the truth be known, I do love baseball more than I love basketball.
Well,
And then you ask
that's
me.
okay.
No, then you ask me. You say, then why don't you coach baseball? I don't know, because I played basketball.
played basketball.
And basketball came easier to me, and I know the
Sure.
game inside and out a little better, right?
Right.
Could you honestly say that basketball, I mean, you're a basketball coach, a great basketball coach. Was a basketball coach or was basketball your favorite sport, or did you have another favorite sport?
Probably not. I would rather played football. I mean, I went to Butler on a football scholarship, and I had options where I could have done either.
Yeah, and you did do options. You were in Texas for 15 years and
Right.
coached football
Coached
in Texas.
football in Texas for 7-8 years. Yep.
If you would have had the opportunity to become a head football coach, would that have been something that would have intrigued you as well?
Sure. The problem I had in Texas was I went into Coach Clark's office in Plano, and we sat down and had a good talk. And he was basically God in Plano. The stadium was named after him. He had won like 5 or 6 state championships.
And he was the head coach at the school.
He was the athletic director for
Okay.
the entire town.
Okay.
And he said, Pat, you can be the best coach in the world down here. You will never be a head coach in Plano.
Because you're not
because
a Texas guy?
you're not from Texas. He said, they will never let you be the head coach. I said, fair enough. So I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, you got to understand, he was from the bloodlines, the coaching lines of Bum Phillips, Bear Bryant
Sure.
into the 50s.
Sure.
He was one of Bum's assistants and then decided to go to high school coaching.
Sure.
So that's where all their bloodlines and their philosophies came from was Bum Phillips, A&M when he was at with Bear at A&M in the 50s, the Junction Boys.
Yes. Yeah, so then
whatever he said, that was gospel.
So that leads me back to this other question then. Did coming back to Indiana ever excite you to look at a head football job in Indiana, or was Indiana always going to be a basketball deal for you?
When I came back to Indiana, it was basketball because I had a chance to. I was also looking at being a basketball coach in Texas, and basically was told the same thing: "You're not a Texan." Now that was in the 1980s, so we made the decision. I had some opportunities open up back here, and I said, "Well, let's go coach basketball."
Let's go back home.
Yep, let's go home, coach basketball.
So it was just kind of the opposite with me, and I did coach basketball in Indiana my whole life, but I don't know, after 2 or 3 years in, I had some, and they weren't really strong connections, but they were just some people that said, hey, come down to Atlanta and interview for a couple basketball jobs in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm 24 years old. I'm not even a head coach yet, and I go down, I interview, the Cobb County School Corporation. I get offered 2 head basketball coaching positions, and the comment was, it's Indiana. It's Bobby Knight.
Right.
Are you kidding me? If we can hire you here in Atlanta, we'll do it in a heartbeat. So it was the Indiana roots here that allowed me to get an opportunity to go coach basketball in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
But those roots would not have been the same way in Texas for basketball, right?
Right. The Texas people.
Forget Texas, man.
Texas knew I was an Indiana guy. And at the time, they did not appreciate all us Midwesterners being down there rocking the boat. I mean, it was still stereotypical. It was football country. And the 80s was a time of change, and I was part of it. Now, we jumped 10 years into the 90s when I was up here. I flew to Florida and down to Cape Coral and interviewed at Cape Coral Mariner for a job down there after my time with Hunsaker over at Manchester.
Dick Hunsaker, the ex-basketball coach at Ball State that I worked for.
The fun story I had was I had Hunsaker and Majerus on my resume for references, and they were on the phone with me back and forth while I was down there. When I came back, I thought I had the job. And then I called 2 days later and found out that Billy Donovan's high school coach from Jersey had been down there over the weekend, interviewed on a Sunday after I was down there. They offered him the job. And you want to see something difficult, trying to tell Majerus and Hunsaker that they got out-resumed because Donovan had Patino on his resume.
I would not want to be around Rick Majerus when that comment came through.
No, you could have heard. I could hear him growling in the background.
Well, he was just eating a ham sandwich. That's what he was eating, a ham sandwich.
But that was back in probably 80, 89, 90, around in that time period.
Well, you know what I say? Forget Texas, man. I I understand Texas football. I understand that. But not Texas basketball. Come on,
Not
man.
yet. Well, and Plano East just won a tournament in Frisco. I watched some of that on Facebook Live. They played 6 games in 3 days, 2, 2, and 2. So they've already played 6 games. That was the one thing when I would come back home to visit at Christmas time. We played 15 games at Christmas because we were in like tournaments every weekend in December.
I mean, Indiana was backwards back in the day, saying you could only play 20 games.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, every other high school in every other state, was playing 30 games.
We were playing 30
2
games.
or 3 tournaments. Blah blah blah.
We were allowed to play 24, 26 plus 3 tournaments. And the tournaments were might play 3 or 4 games. Here they played 6 games.
Yeah. No.
So they'll play 30, 35 games down there.
No, so imagine getting to 500 games a little bit easier. 500 wins in Texas,
That's
right?
why I was saying if I used my Texas wins and losses, I'd be maybe 320, 330.
You'd be 1,000. You'd be.
Who knows?
You'd be signing your name at restaurants. Pat King, HOF.
Oh, who knows?
And he needs that because he leads our college football picks as well by 1 game.
Oh, am I still up 1?
Yeah, even though I had the best week of all of you.
No, so my brother Mike got inducted into the High School Football Hall of Fame in Indiana like a year ago.
Right.
And I told him, I said, Mick, anytime you sign your name, write Mike Eklinski, HOF, underneath it, man. That's what they do. That's what the big guys do.
Yeah.
Hey, high school football, talk about,
football.
We're getting ready this weekend now. There's going to be 6 games on the docket in 2 days down where the Colts play. And this is big time now for the state of Indiana in football. And we're down to 12 teams, right, man?
We are. And, this is a big deal because you get to play where the Colts play. You get to play indoor.
Oh, I think it's amazing.
That's just amazing that they do that. Very similar to what they do for basketball. But this past weekend, you had the semi-states. We had North Judson had a nice season. It come to an end. Adams Central's good, 42-18.
I guess they're good.
They're good. So now the 1A, you're going to have the public school Adams Central against the private school Indianapolis Lutheran.
So in 1A it's a private school. Okay.
You got private schools in the bottom.
Okay.
In the small three.
Okay.
And that's a toss-up game. You read all the stuff. It's going to be a toss-up. I don't think it will be, but it's a toss-up. The 2A, you got Bishop Luers beat Lafayette Central Catholic, so that's the private school side of it. And then North Posey on Saturday beat Southmont in 2A, so there's a public school. So now you got Bishop Luers and and North Posey playing.
I'm going with Bishop Luers. Now, am I wrong with that because of Bishop Luers' dominance in the past?
You're right, but believe it or not, North Posey's favored in this one. North Posey's 13-1, Luers is 11-3, but I haven't really looked. But I bet they're
strength of schedule.
3 losses,
Sure.
strength of schedule. The 3A game, Chittard is the best team around. They should be 5A right now. Chittard beat up on Knox. Knox was undefeated, right, John?
Yes,
And,
they were.
Yeah, they were undefeated.
They were
Yeah.
undefeated.
The
went
great,
down there.
Russ Radke.
no, the great Rusty
Radke.
Radke.
And they knew, but Chittard beat them up 42-14. I think it was running clock, like it was 35-0 second quarter.
Yeah. So who's Chittard playing?
And they're going to play Heritage Hills. You had two Southern teams. That was a rematch. Heritage Hills beat Gibson Southern. So
Forget that one. Chittard all the way, right?
yeah, it's a 10-point game.
Beautiful. Okay.
And then your 4A, Northwood.
Yes.
Northwood beat Leo. Now that game was
Well,
14-6 at the half.
Here.
It was 14-6 at the half. Ends up 45-33.
Yeah, but here it is. There was no party that Northwood
Yeah,
football
their
players could go
their
to the week
players have made
before.
it so far. One more game.
One more game, and there's no party, right?
Well, and here's the thing. Their principal is Wes Lambert, he's a South Bend guy. I did I did summer school with Wes. He's a great guy, and he's enjoying it. Think about it. Northwood wins the state in basketball. Now they got football, so they've got a great group of kids coming through.
So let's just clarify to our listeners: they would have won the state last year. They're undefeated, and they get into the sectional. I don't know, 4 or 5 of their best kids go to a party, messing around, drinking. Are you kidding me?
And the nice thing is their school did something about it because there were kids there from other schools that they didn't get penalized.
Yeah.
Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance is a proud supporter of Coach's Corner. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time to get the right coverage from the right place. Call Tony at 574-307-8882 or visit his website at tletcher.com. Andy Kern and James Carpenters are both real estate brokers with the Weichert Real Estate and Jim Dunphy and Associates Agency. The office is locally owned but has big company resources behind it that many smaller real estate offices just don't have. Whether you're selling your 5th house or buying your starter home, Andy and Jim can help. They have great experience. Call or text Andy at 574-386-4479 or give James Carpenter, a call at 574-292-2277 for great local real estate service. Frick's Driving School has been named the best driving school in Michiana. Not second best, not third best, but the best. Man, if I was a kid and I would learn to drive from Frick's, my life would be so much better with my wife. She's always complaining about my driving. The best in Michiana. Frick's was started in 1960 and is located on Edison Road in Mishawaka. If your child is 15 or if your child is 67, you can get them started at Frick's. There are multiple instructors available for driving lessons, including our own coach, Patrick King. To learn more, go to fricksdrivered.com or give them a call at 574-256-2881.
So who does Northwood play?
Well, they get to play the University of East Central.
So East Central's really good.
East Central is a powerhouse. They're moving up. They were defending state champs. They're the ones that kicked New Prairie last year. That was ugly in the state finals. So this is their second year in the finals.
So Northwood's got 2 D1 players, right?
Yeah.
They got the great receiver Tuggle, who's going to Georgia.
But that's I don't.
You're saying East Central.
It's going to be. It'll be
ugly.
I'm afraid it's going to be ugly.
All right.
East Central's just too good.
All right, 5A.
5A, Fort Wayne Snyder.
No,
Fort Wayne Snyder.
My heart's breaking.
You can cry all you want.
I'm crying. You know why? Because Mishawaka has. If you find a way to get 2 seconds out of that game. They kicked
a 47, 48-yard
field goal with 1 second left.
Now, here's the thing. I believe that same kicker kicked a 55-yard field goal at Leo to end the half the other day.
And by the way, that was a school record.
It doesn't surprise me.
That's the school record, the 50 that the young man from Northwood did. That's a school record.
Well, it was the Northwood kicker.
The Northwood kicker had a 55-yarder.
Northwood kicker had a 55-yarder.
Wow, and that's the school record. Yep.
Yeah.
So the kid from Snyder, his dad wasn't Garo Yapremian, was he? Kicker from the Miami Dolphins back in the day.
No. But as you said, Snyder beat Mishawaka. Then they turned around and
Trounce.
and beat up on Merrillville.
Trounce Maryville.
Which I think was a big surprise because the Merrillville people were pretty confident.
Yeah, I know they
that
were.
they had beaten Crown Point, or not Crown Point. They had beaten Valpo the week before, and they were going over there to Snyder. They actually played the game at Northrop, and everybody goes, "Why don't they play?" Well, Snyder doesn't have enough bleachers. They've always been playing at Northrop.
So who they playing now?
So anyways, you got Snyder, and they got to play with surprise. They got to play Decatur Central, who beat Bloomington South. And Bloomington South had been either number 1 or number 2. All year it was either Bloomington South or Bloomington North.
Well,
and now here Decatur Central beat them 24-12.
Okay, so this hinges on the quarterback for Snyder because the quarterback for Snyder got hurt late in the game. So we'll see.
The game's a toss-up. So
Yeah.
you're right.
So I'm
see.
going with Decatur Central. And who's the big boys?
The big boys had a nice weekend. Crown Point, Westfield had to go up to Crown Point 2 overtimes. Crown Point wins 38-31 at Crown Point.
Playing for a 6A
so
championship.
Crown
How about
Point gets
that?
to go to the Dome, and the game of the night was Ben Davis Center Grove, 37-34. It was also overtime at Ben Davis.
Wow.
So you've got Ben Davis, and Ben Davis's only loss is to IMG. Is that right? From Sarasota.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're the only team that's beaten Ben Davis.
Yeah.
So Center Grove, who was either 2 or 3-time state champion. That was a big deal. Ben Davis and Center Grove, was that the state championship game? We'll find out here in a week.
I think so.
Those people, I love watching 6A football because you got the big boys playing.
Yeah.
You got the big boys
I think it's great football, and I think it stays in Indianapolis because that's where it's built. That's where it's going to be.
Now, four of the 6 games have Indianapolis-based teams. You've got Lutheran in 1A. You've got Chittard in 3A. You've got Decatur Central in 5A. And you've got Ben Davis in 6A.
Yeah.
So you got 4 Indianapolis-based teams in the finals, and they're all, with the exception of Chittard. Chittard's a northern semi-state team.
Yeah. How does that work?
The rest of them are south.
I can't dig that, man.
The rest of them are south, and it just has to do with enrollment, so how they've gerrymandered everything. So football's about to come to an end. They've got a great weekend. Let's see, I think correct me if I'm wrong, the 1A, the odd numbers, the 1, 3, and 5 play on Friday, and I believe the 2, 4, and 6 play on Saturday.
Yeah, Paul Condrey from Regional Radio Sports Network is going to do all 6 of those games.
And I remember seeing him down there last year. He is a busy man.
Yeah, so, hey, let me hit a couple of guys here. Hahn Funeral Home. The loss of a loved one can leave you with lots of unanswered questions and stress. At Hahn Funeral Homes, we're here to help. Our focus has always been on the families that we serve. At Hahn Funeral Home, we stand ready to meet your needs and exceed your expectations when selecting a funeral home. Stop in, talk to Pat Hahn. Give him a buzz at 574-255-1474. Kenny, what did one casket say to the other casket?
Is that you coughing?
How the hell did you know that? No. Johnny Be Good, our producer, just told him. Is that you coughing? That's
brand new. You haven't heard
that at all, man.
That's brand new.
Anyway,
Heck just came up with that one.
If those needs come to you, stop in and see the great Pat Hahn at Hahn Funeral Home. Thanks to Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time you get the right coverage for the right price. Call Tony today at 574-307-8882 or visit the website at tletcher.com. Now, Tony is swamped now because now is the time period where everybody can sign up for Medicare again. Tony was going to be with us tonight, but he had 4 or 5 appointments late, so he will be with us maybe next week or so, and we'll put a face to Tony Letcher.
There you go.
But he does a great job. Frick's, baby.
Frick's Driving School. Call them. Their numbers on our website. You can talk to Joe Lynn. You can talk to Doug. Get you scheduled. If you're 15, come in and you can get your driver's license permit so you can drive. You can drive with me. Matter of fact, I'm driving Wednesday in the morning since there's no school.
Driving Miss Daisy?
So we're driving
driving Miss
whoever
Daisy?
shows up. Whoever shows up.
I thought there was a movie named Driving Miss Daisy.
There was. Yeah.
Is that who you're driving, Daisy?
No, I'm not driving
okay,
Daisy.
sorry.
Not driving
Sorry.
Daisy.
Sorry.
But Well, I've got a couple daisies that we've been driving now. We go over to Edison Middle School and do laps around the neighborhood, so people I'm sure have seen us. So that's me.
Hey, what about the Black Sedan Band, man?
What about them? They're
They're
great.
great.
Yes.
They're great. Can you pop up a tune real quick?
I certainly can do that for
Pop
you.
up a tune. The Black Sedan Band, located in Birmingham, Alabama. They have one of the best drummers in the history of drumming, Johnny Heklinski. Let me hear. Hear that bass drum right there? Pat's got a little something going. I want to stop for a second. I want to see you on the dance floor.
No, you don't.
I swear to God, I want
don't.
you coming to one of my relatives' Polish weddings.
Oh, Lord.
And I want about 777s in you, and then I want to see you stepping it out on the dance floor.
I
Okay?
think the last time I danced, we were bumping in 1977, and I hurt.
We can do the bump.
I threw out a hip and haven't been the same since.
Hey,
But I didn't know I did it till the next day because I had to,
Hey.
it didn't hurt.
That's the name of the show, The Bump.
The bump, oh Lord.
The Bump from
You got it.
1978.
You got it.
The Bump.
The bump.
Hey, college basketball's starting out. Teams are playing. They're playing in Maui. IU's in New York. IU plays a pretty good game tonight. Beats Louisville 74-66. IU gets beat by UConn 77-57.
Defending champs.
And here's the comment that Mike Woodson made on his IU team. He said, and I quote, he said, "I'm 65 years old and I could have got one rebound in that game." They got a rebound at 44-22. Now, I'm going to take that a step further. I got a bad neck. My neck is just brutal, man. I'm walking down the street and I'm thinking my head's going to fall off and roll down the street. That's how bad my neck is. But I'm thinking if my neck was cool, I'd get 4.
You could get 4.
I could get 4 just by being aggressive.
I could step on somebody's foot and maybe get 1.
Well, I mean, one could fall in your
Yeah,
hands.
I'll chase a long rebound. Now, here's the stinker. The second game here at Madison Square Garden is UConn and Texas. IU's got the winner.
Yeah, no, and playing UConn again, maybe.
They may see UConn again.
So 44-22, their starting guards got 1 rebound apiece. The other 2 guards, or the starting guards got 1 rebound. Trey Galloway gets a rebound. Xavier Johnson comes up with zip. Xavier Johnson is the point guard. He has 1 assist. Are you kidding me? The 2 guards coming off the bench, C.J. Gunn has a rebound, and Cups, the freshman, has a rebound. You got to, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. People talk about scoring, man. When you and I were coaching, we were fundamental coaches, and the first 2 things that come out of our mouth are defending and rebounding.
Defending and rebounding. I mean, think about why Dennis Rodman was as successful as he was. It wasn't because he was, looking for points. He was just going to get missed shots.
And as we say in the biz, okay, we say this in the biz. Shots taken from the left baseline, 77 or 70% of all rebounds come off
They go
opposite.
He had it figured out,
Opposite.
didn't
And he would run to the opposite side of the basket. Rebounding is the key. So in the UConn-IU game, UConn scored 16 points off second chance points. IU got zip.
he? Well, let's face it. I'm still trying to figure out. I've watched a few of the IU games, not all of it, but some of each, and I'm still trying to figure out how good are they going to be. I don't see it yet. And I'm sure the IU people, even though that UConn game was their first loss, they've had some ugly games. I don't see the rotation yet of players.
And so it was their first loss, but they had played Wright State and Florida Atlantic.
And
somebody
close
else, but
games.
they were close games.
Yeah, Army.
Yeah, and you're playing Wright State, and it's an 8-point game. I mean, that's the Big Ten against Wright State.
And Wright State had Indiana players that Indiana
did not recruit.
Indiana did not recruit, so they went.
Exactly.
They went to Wright State.
So I think one of the bright spots for the Hoosiers is the Ware kid, the 7-foot transfer from Oregon. He's actually played pretty well against the UConn Huskies. He gets, I think, maybe 8 rebounds, 11 points, 8 rebounds, and you'll take that out of your center.
Right. I'm still trying to figure out Xavier. What's his last name? Johnson.
Xavier Johnson.
I'm trying to figure him out. I'm trying to figure out, can he do? I mean, they have not replaced Hood Schifino, and I don't think he's going to be able to replace Hood Schifino.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And so we talk about Hood Schifino. You recruit him, and you're not recruiting him to think that he's a one and done.
Oh,
You're saying he's a program guy. He's a program guy, because I don't think anybody went into that recruitment of him saying he's going to be a one and done. But then all of a sudden, KYP against Purdue, KYP, know your personnel.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Matt Painter. I know him really well, and I know he put on the grease board Hood Schifino going right, going right. Make him go left. Make him go left. Nobody made him go left. And he got drafted in the night of that Purdue game because he scored 35 points. And he was unstoppable, but KYP failed Purdue.
Right, exactly.
They never took his right away.
And they had two young guards that were scorers, basically.
Yes.
And they weren't big enough to defend him.
Yeah, and they didn't push him left.
No.
They didn't push him left. And that's where the scouting, and you've done that.
Sure.
You've scouted. I mean, you were great when you worked for me on personnel and stuff like that. This guy's going right, take his shoulder away, or this guy in the post is swinging back to his left shoulder for the jump hook, take that left shoulder away. And then during the course of that practice, leading up to that game, you would do drills.
You would work those.
Getting that guy on that left shoulder and not letting him go to that shoulder.
Exactly.
But that game against Purdue set Schifino up for everything. Now, back in the day, you would say, yeah, man, I'm going to the league, blah, blah, blah. But you don't have to say that now because of NIL.
Exactly.
You don't have to say that. So the running back for Notre Dame. So, one of my friends was telling me, he listens to this show, and he says, you guys go from point A to point D, just real quick. And this is one of those point A's to point D's. But the Estime running back.
Sure.
Everybody's saying he's a junior. He's going to go out. He's going to declare for the draft. He's making $760,000 playing at Notre Dame
And getting an education.
Yeah. So will he stay? Will the money allow him to stay, or will he go? That's the big question. But he has options now.
Sure he does.
Because of that money, he's got options.
10 years ago, he didn't have those options.
No, 3 years ago he didn't have those options.
Point.
3 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, he didn't have those options. But NIL, and I'm not a big fan of it. I do believe those kids should be getting paid. I've said it. I mean, a lot of times. They put the people in the stands.
Oh,
the
yeah.
people want to watch them. There's 100,000 people. There's money being generated, but $607,000 or $760,000. So 4 years ago, if those college kids, if you were a college kid and I said, hey, I'm going to give you $50,000, you would have been dancing down the street.
Oh, sure.
You would have said, oh, 50, are you kidding me? $50,000? Mm-hmm. I was getting $25 laundry money, $50,000.
Right.
But now $750,000.
It's the per diem money you get off when you get off the bus on the road trip.
Yeah.
They
So
hand you
I
go
think
go to McDonald's.
I just think there should have been some parameters instead of just who. Hey, Johnny, be good.
Sir.
NIL. Who's the leading NIL guy in the country? It's all sports. All sports, not just football. Could be basketball, college basketball. Who's the leading NIL person in the country?
That's a great question.
Yeah, I know. You got it?
No, I don't.
Pat, you
I'll be
got
honest,
it?
I don't.
I'm going to guess that it's Shador.
I was going to think Shadur Sanders from Colorado.
You guys ain't even close.
I didn't think so. That figures.
It's Bronny James.
Really?
$7.8 million a year.
Yep.
NIL, and he's not even played a college basketball
say,
game.
hasn't played a minute, has he?
I heard he might have warmed up with the team.
He did warm up. He had a heart issue. His heart stopped, and God bless him, and they restarted it.
But at least he's in uniform, and he went through warm-ups.
Yes, but
Like
of all
this
people,
week, that's
that don't, and I don't know. I'm not begrudging anybody, but $7.8 mil. Arch Manning, who hasn't taken a snap and probably will not take a snap for Texas, right?
I agree.
Because there's a player named Quinn Ewers in front of him. Probably will not take a snap for Texas. He making like 4.8 mil. And won't take a snap.
Off the name. Yep.
So, I don't know. Give me some parameters.
Right,
I'm sorry from going to point A to point
Well, let's
D.
go back to point B.
Okay.
We just watched the end of Purdue. You talked about IU, talk about Purdue. Purdue has like 1 or 2 transfers coming in, but the games I've seen, their 7 or 8 main players are still the same 7 or 8 as they had last year. Purdue, I think they could play Big Ten ball right now. No, IU, no. IU is nowhere close ready for that. And the other thing I was going to mention with this too, leading up to that, look at some of the schedules we have. I'm looking at the top 10. The top 10, Kansas, Purdue, Arizona, it's all the same names we've seen. They're still unbeaten. They haven't. So just like tonight. Tonight's the first time Purdue's really played a named team that I recall. They played Gonzaga. All right, Michigan State's already played somebody. They've lost a game. Duke's played somebody. They've lost a game. They don't care. They're in the second 10 right now, but
No, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. But that's what we're going to see this week. That's what you're going to see this week, Thanksgiving. We've got all these tournaments. You got Maui going. You're going to have Atlantis here later on. They're down at Fort Myers. I don't know. They still have the Alaskan Shootout like they used to.
Chaminade. They got the Chaminade tournament.
They're out in Maui right now. So you're going to, not tonight because they've got them seated. But here tomorrow, the next day, you're going to have some finals where you're going to have 2 top 10 teams playing each other.
Yes, so Purdue wins 73-63 against Gonzaga. Now you go down Purdue's starting lineup. You look at a player like Mason Gillis, who started for Purdue last year, played a lot of minutes against Xavier, and they beat a really good Xavier team. I mean, a noted program. Xavier was 2-1 or 2-0 going into that game. They beat Xavier 83-71. Mm-hmm. Mason Gillis plays 17 minutes. Miles Colvin, the freshman, the son of Prevagen, Magic Mike. All right, now it's the time for Magic Mike.
You're dropping names
Magic
again. You're
Mike,
dropping names on me.
Magic Mike, take over. Get the brain stimulating. Roosevelt Colvin played for the Chicago Bears.
See, you're doing the Bears and Clemson. I don't give it. Darn.
Go ahead, say damn. You can say it. We're here. Played for the Patriots.
I don't
won World
care.
Championships with the Patriots.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Miles
I'm
Colvin
still trying
from
to figure out
Heritage Christian.
where I care about this.
No, you care about Miles Colvin from Heritage Christian.
Okay, I can go with that.
So you can go with that.
See, that's where
he plays 11 minutes.
Told me something I care about.
He plays 11 minutes. He hits 3 out of 3 threes. So Purdue struggles from the 3 line because everybody collapses down on Eddie, right?
So now Lawyer goes to the bench.
Well, no, I mean Lawyer started. Lawyer played 26 minutes, but he's 1 for 4 for the 3 line.
Okay.
So Miles Colvin comes in, the freshman from Heritage Christian, son of Roosevelt Colvin.
Okay.
Played for the Bears and Patriots.
Okay. That's in the I don't care part.
That's going from A to F again. All right.
You've done it again. All right. Let's jump to C. How about the local boys here? What are we going to do with Notre Dame?
Just when you think that Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is going to struggle this year. Let's be straight up with that. I love Micah. He was a great player at Cathedral. He was a good player at Cathedral.
Good player.
And then he went to Hanover College and played at Hanover College.
Sure.
Has been on many coaching staffs. Matt Painter.
He has paid his dues.
He's been in the league with Brad Stevens at the Celtics. Good coach.
He's done it the right way.
Takes over a program where there's just not the cupboard's somewhat bare.
The cupboard was bare.
The cupboard was bare.
And I think what he found out this year is how difficult it is to recruit high school seniors right now because of the NIL. How many high school seniors
Why
can
is
you
it
bring
difficult
in?
to recruit seniors? Because
you've got transfers as a possibility as well. So do I go find a transfer who can play right now, or how many freshmen do I bring in? He's got 2.
Yeah.
His 2 guards, his son and Marcus Burton. that have been playing a bunch and are probably going to continue to play a bunch
Well-
until some of these transfers figure out what
Well,
they're
so
doing.
that's the point I'm going with here. I mean, Coach Shrewsbury's son, Braden, started the first 2 games.
Sure.
Played 30 minutes and didn't have a stat line.
Right.
I mean, if you're playing 30 minutes, you got to have a stat line.
need
7
some- yep,
points,
need some
6
numbers.
rebounds. He's a great shooter. He's a great shooter, not shooting the ball well. So now against Oklahoma State, they don't start him. They start J.R. Konechny, the St. Joe product. And in the first 2 games, J.R. actually got 8 minutes each game. One game he didn't score. The other game he scored 4 points. So now they start J.R. He goes for 35 minutes out of a 40-minute game, gets 11 points, 10 rebounds. He's 2 for 5 from deep. So now J.R.'s getting his minutes.
did he play himself into the starting
Yeah,
lineup?
and so 64-66, the Irish beat Oklahoma State.
And I watched some of that game. They were up 12, and then they just hung on. I think they went one time. They went 5 minutes, no points. Then they scored a couple. Then they went another 3 or 4 minutes with no points. They went 8 minutes at least in the second half without scoring, and then still somehow, and then he went to overtime.
Yeah,
and I thought when they went to overtime, they have no chance, and they somehow won.
And those droughts, they just kill you
Oh.
because, especially if you don't have a big that you can go to and get one and get one for your team. Marcus Burton had 20, but Marcus is 5'10",
Right.
and he's quick. But everybody's going to start loading up on him.
Oh, sure.
And, Purdue's not going to go through a drought because they're going to throw it into Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
IU didn't go through a drought like that for very long periods of time because of the big boy, Trace Jackson Davis.
Right.
So,
And
but Notre Dame. But
they're
Notre
trying
Dame,
to replace him with the Oregon transfer that hadn't happened yet.
Well,
It's a work
he's
in
okay.
progress.
He's 11.7 rebounds. But Jackson Davis is an NBA player. But who Jackson Davis, NBA player, right?
Sure.
Playing for the G League team. Mm-hmm. Playing for the G League team. Now he didn't have any more eligibility, so he couldn't. No, I think he did have a year, though. I think he had a year, but he chose to go out.
I've had enough. Yep.
But he chose to go out. But at the end of the day, would he have made more money playing in the G League or playing
That's
for
a good point.
IU?
It's a good point.
So,
one of the things I was going to ask you, and you can agree with me or not, I'm looking at the schedules. I think things have kind of changed here in the last 4 to 5 years where the big-name teams are starting to play each other more in the pre-Christmas time period. You look around, and so many teams were playing, like Notre Dame had a time period when they were playing people I'd never heard of. And, so Notre Dame was coming in here, and they were 7-0, 8-0,
Yeah,
6-1, and then they get into conference, and they haven't played anybody.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it. You can play tomato cans,
Right.
and you can get your 7 wins.
Sure.
And then you get 7 more wins. You got a 14-win season.
Exactly.
But you can play some tougher teams, and what those teams can do is they can expose some of your weaknesses, and then you have an opportunity to coach some of those weaknesses up in practice.
Well, I agree.
And
And that's funny you mentioned that, and I don't know what I'm leading up to, but even at the high school level, think about some of the schedules you had at Anderson. You always try to find like 5 games that you can win. You've got 5 games that you are going to be tough. And then you got those other 10 or 12 in the middle that are the 50-50s.
Well, I think scheduling is I think scheduling is an art.
Oh,
and I think
I agree.
scheduling is so tough because in a 22-game schedule like that, like at Anderson, you have to build in a couple of tomato cans.
Sure.
Because you can't play the top teams in the state every freaking weekend. I mean, the mental aspect of it is just tough on kids. That's tough on coaches.
Well, I was looking at one of the local schedules here in town, and they play one team I've never heard of. It's Liberty somebody. It's not even an IHSA school. I think it might be a prep school. But in the conference, they're playing Jimtown. They're playing John Glenn. They're playing Triton. They're playing Buchanan, Michigan. They're playing teams. I never played those teams. And then I wondered, okay, if I would have played that schedule, we might have won 16 or 17.
Well, you have 500 wins.
Yeah.
Hold on. Pat King, HOF.
Stop it. But we were playing, on Saturday night. We went over to Fort Wayne Northrop.
I know.
We went to the region and played East Chicago. We came to Anderson and played in the Wigwam. We went to Marion and played the Giants.
Beat our brains out one year.
1 year. We went to Carmel the year they had McRoberts and played.
Yeah.
Galloway sends me a tape. Says, yeah, I'll trade tapes with you. He sends me the Lawrence North tape.
Yeah.
They've got Galloway over here. They've got Odin Connolly, and I'm supposed to watch that tape.
All right, so let me ask you this question. So do you think playing every one of those schools was good for you, or did you build in a couple of tomato cans in between that schedule?
No.
Or was it 22 tough-ass schools?
There were, most of the time, our Saturday games were as competitive, or maybe even more so than the Friday night conference games. But the sales pitch I told the kids said, look, we're getting to play the best teams in the state. And I think that's what you want to do, because it's going to get us ready for the tournament. Because
Did it?
I thought so.
So you were the head coach at Adams for 15 years.
Right.
How many sectionals did you win?
We won 2.
Okay, 2 out of 15.
And we were in the finals 5 other times.
Okay, so you were playing for the championship 1/3 of the time.
I've got 5 runner-up basketballs.
Okay. Are they at your crib?
No, they're in someplace at school. Probably in a closet by now. They
You didn't take them with you?
I should have.
Dang.
But, yeah.
So my point is.
So our whole point was we tried to tell people, if you're going to win the sectional, you got to beat us to do it.
So my point is this. Your kids had to play their brains out every night.
Mm-hmm.
And if they didn't, they were going to get beat.
We were gonna get beat.
And could get beat bad.
And we did sometimes.
Whereas the schedules that I always put together were, the North Central Conference, much like the NIC Conference,
Right.
Those games are always tough, and much tougher when you play them on the road. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 other, 5 really good schools non-conference, 5 schools that, we could throw it up and we could win or they could win.
Right.
And then 5 schools that were going to win.
Right.
That were going to win, and those were put in a very strategic part in that schedule.
Now, when I was in Southern Indiana at Madison, I was the smallest school in the biggest conference in the South. So Friday nights, we were getting our brains beat in on Friday nights. We were playing Jeffersonville, New Albany, Floyd Central, Bedford North Lawrence, Columbus East, Jennings County, when we were playing the biggest schools down on the river. And we were the little guys. So 3-3, 3-4, whatever it might have been, we were thrilled to death. So then Saturday night, we're playing the county schools.
And you're winning.
And we're winning those games. But the problem was those county schools were coming in on Saturday night. That was their Super Bowl game, because they were coming in to play the big school.
Yeah, no, I get that.
And so we actually had to be on the top of our game even again on Saturday, just because it was a game all of a sudden we were supposed to win that game.
Hey, I want to stay with this for a second, but I want to get back to Tony Letcher in Health Markets Insurance, whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare. Time to get the right coverage for the right price. Get a hold of Tony, man. Tony's a wonderful guy. So you might know Tony Letcher, 1995 Adams graduate. So were you at Adams in 95?
Missed him by 1 year. I was there 96, 97.
Oh, Tony's a 95 graduate.
Okay.
We talked about it. Get a hold of Tony at tletcher.com. And get that Medicare stuff taken care of. Hahn Funeral Home, located at 505 West 8th Street, downtown Mish. Call them anytime, 574-255-1474. And remember what one casket said to the other one.
Can I say it?
Say it.
Is that you coughing?
Beautiful. That's Johnny B. Good, our producer. Hold on. Great job, Johnny B. Good.
He's got about 20 questions for us. Do we want to
give me a question, Johnny? Hey. Get a hold of Pat Hahn. Give me one more Fricks, and Fricks is off the books, big dog.
Call Fricks Driving School. We are scheduling people for Christmas break, for Thanksgiving, for the month of December. I know they're scheduling all the way out into December right now. So you guys that are listening, call them. If you need to if you're 15 years old, get in there and you can sign up and get started here during Christmas break, and that'll run you. You'll learn how to drive in the snow.
What did one student driver say to the other student driver?
I don't know.
Stop! All right, go ahead, Johnny. Be good.
Hey, unfortunately, this is a live show. We cannot edit.
Yeah, I know. Baseball question. This is from Jim in Chicago. What do you guys think about Craig Counsell as the manager of the Cubs and former Notre Dame coach Pat Murphy being the manager of the Brewers?
You started out, big boy.
I think it's a great move. I think it was choreographed. A lot of people are feeling bad for the old manager for the Cubs, but I think he's going to land on his feet just fine. But it's a step up for him. And again, it looks like the Cubs are trying to revisit 10 years ago, 12 years ago, when they made the run. They're going to go out and get players. They've got a new manager, and they're going to make a run with it.
It's the same deal that happened when Theo Epstein was the general manager for the Cubs, and Rick Renteria. They hired Rick Renteria. They brought him in. He was the manager for a couple years, and the season gets over. They give Rick Renteria this vote of confidence. Oh, man, Ricky, you did a great job. Those guys are playing hard, blah, blah, blah. Keep playing those young guys, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks later, they go out and they interview Joe Madden on the beach in Florida. Joe Madden's the head coach of the Tampa Bay Rays. He's got some kind of an out clause. They go down and they interview Joe Madden. Joe Madden says, "Are you kidding me? I'm coming to Chi-Town." So they hire Joe Madden. All of a sudden, they say, "Ricky, man, sorry, man. Joe Madden's going to take us to the next level.
We're going to buy you out."
It's the same thing back in the day, and you'll remember this.
Business is
Michael
business.
Jordan got drafted by the Bulls. The coach of the Bulls at that time was a great ex-player and a really good coach, Doug Collins. Doug Collins. And Doug Collins coached Michael for 2 years. Jerry Krause and Jerry Reinsdorf said, man, Doug Collins is good. We've won some games, but he ain't taking us to the promised land.
Phil Jackson.
But I'll tell you who is taking us to the promised land. It's Phil Jackson.
Right.
And Phil Jackson will get us there.
Sure.
So what do? They get rid of Doug Collins.
Right.
And Doug Collins is crying the blues. He's crying the blues, and he's saying, "That's my team, man. Michael J. Those are my guys." But at the end of the day, he made the right move. We have some chicks coming in here from St. Joe High School today, man. That's really cool. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
We like that.
The Ron Heklinski fan club.
We like that. So, but that happens. Mm-hmm. I got a T-shirt that says blank happens. Okay? And I don't feel bad. For Rossi.
No.
That happens.
All right.
Give me another question.
All right. High school football question. This comes from Brett in Goshen. Is there any coincidence that Tom Wogelman resigns at Goshen one day and then St. Louis
Raymond
is fired from Elkhart the next day? Is Elkhart wanting Tom Wogelman as their next head coach?
I'm at Elkhart every day.
You should know.
I'm in the wrong building. They've
so.
got 3 buildings. I have not heard a thing.
There's a rumor.
I have not heard a thing. Again, it's like I'm too close, evidently, and I don't have enough football players. Of course, they don't know. So
I got to say this.
I don't know.
I just got to jump in and say this. Elkhart got 6A. Elkhart 6A.
Yep.
Elkhart 6A. They got 1 million students now.
There's over 3,000 in there.
And in the immortal words of Johnny Wilson, 1946 Mr. Basketball, they can't bust a grape. So you got to go. You got to go in. You got to get a coach. If I coached football, would I apply? No, because I don't coach football. You're a football guy.
Right?
Why don't you go in there and apply?
No.
No.
I'm too old.
No.
He's under contract.
I'm too old. All right. So we don't have an answer for you, but I will start snooping around. I will ask.
Yeah, this is kind of a hot topic right now in high school football in our part of the state.
Okay.
So
I will go. I'll snoop a little bit.
All right.
Here we
Go
go.
ahead. Give
Next
me another one, man.
This one comes from Mike in Logansport. Your guys' top boys hoops team this year as the boys basketball season gets underway this week.
Mike in Logansport. Well,
they're all
tell
in
Mike.
It ain't the Berries.
Well, no. Tell Mike it ain't Logansport.
No, it ain't the Berries, no.
Okay, it ain't Logansport. Probably the best team up here
Yeah, or
is who? Who do you think the best team is?
Northwood.
Northwood will be a really good team. I think
Riley.
And I know our girls that just walked in here will want to hear this. I think the St. Joe team is going to be really good this year.
No.
Really good. I think I think Washington's got the good young player. I don't know what else they got to go with them. But let me tell you this, though.
Tell me.
Okay, let me tell you this. I do a Bethel College at Goshen College.
Okay.
I do that game Saturday. Guess who the starting guard for Goshen College is? Marcus Northern.
Marcus Northern. Okay.
The little guard from Washington.
From Washington. Okay.
From Washington.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. So I don't know. I mean, I think Marion could be okay. Marion's got this 6'10" kid from Denmark, Switzerland, Sweden. No, I'm sorry, 6'7" kid.
The foreign exchange program must be going well.
No, Robbie's doing well.
I still think Northwood, Northridge are your two teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about what about Mish?
Mishawaka should be good.
I mean, Mish wins the section. Got everybody
They
back
got
with Arthur
everybody back.
Jones.
Yep.
Come on, man.
5A.
My surprise
Right.
team
Okay.
that could make some noise, it could at least maybe hurt a few feelings, South Bend Clay. Doug's got a good team this
Stop.
year. No, Doug's got a good team this year.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Well, okay. Next question.
30-year anniversary of the 1994 state champions.
Next question before I
Sports
talk about
information guy had to say that.
Sorry, had to get that.
Next
in.
question before I gotta say something about the hopeless Bears.
Okay, yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Who is the next head coach at Texas A&M? Since Texas A&M is going to pay $76 million to Jimbo.
Well, you found out first of all that money is no object down there, and you kept talking for like 3 weeks about how much money they owed him, and then we saw something. I printed something out where his $75 million buyout. The next one is like 20-some million that happened a couple years ago. There's just a huge gap. But it just showed you Texas A&M has unlimited money. Their pockets are the deepest around.
Well, so Jimbo Fisher kind of hurt his own deal. So in the state of Texas, you know this. State of Texas, Jimbo Fisher did not go to one clinic.
You better go to the clinic.
One Texas clinic.
You better go to the coach's clinic.
I mean, the offense that he's running, archaic. He wanted to run everything.
He is old school.
He is so old school.
He touches everything.
But you know what he is? He is old school, heading to the bank, boys. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Who's
school,
the next coach?
running to the bank.
Yeah, who's the next coach is the question.
So who did they say?
I'm going to give you a name that I've heard
Go ahead.
that might happen. Dabo Swinney.
And I actually heard that in the car today.
I'm going to give you another name.
There.
I'm going to give you another name. Brian Kelly. Brian Kelly.
A&M?
Yeah, that
think
well, that was the name.
He's going to
that
leave his
came out.
family to do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to tell you. I'll just say Dabo, just to throw a name out there, just because it might be time for him to go try something different.
I think so too.
Like Kelly did when he left Notre Dame.
I think so too.
All right.
Next question.
We're on a roll. Go ahead.
With the firing of the Michigan linebacker coach last week, is it that more proof of the guilt of cheating at Michigan? This comes from Guy in Michigan.
Okay, so here's the statement I'm going to make.
Okay.
The Michigan Athletic Department went to Jim Harbaugh and said, Jim, you're taking one for the team. You're taking one for the team. We are not defending you. We're not going to defend you. This other guy just got hammered. All the evidence. We're dropping the lawsuits. We're dropping all of it. You're taking it for the team. And Jim Harbaugh had to sit there, keep his mouth shut, and say, okay, because the administration said that. Now, what will happen against Ohio State? I don't know.
All I know is, they talked about emails have been destroyed. I mean, the evidence is gone. All this reminds me of is Hillary Clinton, of destroying evidence. I mean, all Michigan's doing is the same thing Hillary did, and what happened to Hillary?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a thing.
Okay.
No. So where's Jim Harbaugh going to be?
He's going to the NFL.
He's going to Chicago Bears.
Yeah,
man.
I say, and the Bears are after him. They're going to be after him.
and
He's going to be the next head coach of the Bears.
He's going to the NFL.
And here's the big picture. Next, you watch. As soon as all this is over, the next meeting that we're going to have with the colleges, the Power 5 conferences will have headsets inside their helmets next year.
And they should.
Power 5 will have they will have the helmet. They will have pro style helmets with the same radio systems that the pros are doing for your Power 5 conferences.
So tonight, and we're watching it right now, the Eagles against Kansas City, a big game tonight. The Chicago Bears yesterday. Are you kidding me?
That leads us into
No,
another
stop.
question.
Okay,
I want to
okay.
get to the question.
All right, go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead. Go ahead.
Heck, what do you think? Where do the Bears go from here after that tough loss to my Detroit Lions yesterday at Ford Field?
The Bears.
Where are they going?
The Bears. Here's where the Bears go. So, and you can say down. I say up. You know why?
Why?
Tankathon, baby.
Okay, all right.
It's Tankathon.
That's all they
and
did. They kept
that's all I
kept
care
it,
about.
They kept it close last night, and they got beat. Like
Number
they're
one
supposed to
pick.
do.
Number one pick, and maybe the third or the fourth. That's all I'm saying. Tankathon time. I didn't want him to win. I didn't, and I'm a happy dude for you.
Yeah.
I'm a real happy dude.
First
for
time
you.
since 1962, my Lions are 8-2.
And I'm gonna tell you why I'm a happy dude because Detroit was terrible. They were terrible, and they built it through the draft.
Yep.
Their offensive line is amazing, but the coaching staff for Chicago, boom, gotta go. I mean, some of the decisions they made in that game. Are you kidding me?
They'll bring new people in.
They'll bring new people. Great show. I got to finish up. Thanks to Tony Letcher with Health Markets Insurance. Whether you need help with your health insurance or Medicare, it's time you get the right coverage for the right price. Call Tony today at 574-307-8882 or visit the website at tletcher.com. So you know what Tony said to me? He said, Ron, why aren't you on Medicare? I said, because I like working still. I like working, I like teaching, and I have a wife that's 17 years younger than me, and we got to have insurance, man. That's what I said.
And he said, you know what? You can do Medicare and teach.
Yeah. Well, no, I can't because I can't have both.
You can't have both.
I cannot have both.
You can't use Medicare for a secondary.
Nope.
All
So
right, who wins the ball game Saturday? Michigan or Ohio State?
Ohio State.
Michigan.
Well, and here's the thing: the team that loses, are they still a top four?
Oh, well, I don't know.
The loser is out.
Well, yeah, but you're going to have so many
Depending on
conference tournaments
losers
now
out.
and stuff. I don't. Yeah,
I'm
I
just
agree.
saying. I'm
I
just
agree.
asking.
I agree.
We will talk more about that
Yes, we
next
will.
week.
Yes,
How's
we will.
that?
So we're going to wrap this up.
Wrap
Yes,
them
we are.
up.
We're about out of time, guys.
Okay, give me.